Hey friends, it's Pat Colbeck. Just wanted to chime in again. It's Saturday morning after Governor Whitmer issued her latest executive order requiring face masks being worn by people out in public as well as indoors. And granted, there's a few exceptions in there. People need to understand what those exceptions are. For medical reasons, you're allowed to not wear a mask. A lot of folks are going to be, a lot of business owners are faced with a pretty difficult decision in this context. Are you going to go off and comply with the governor's latest edict? Or are you going to fight back and take a stand? And if you do take a stand, you got to realize that the governor has already demonstrated that she's willing to go after their license, their ability to stay open as a business, ability to generate income, and the ability to go off and run a business in a way that actually pays all the employees that depend upon that income that that business generates. So bottom line is, please understand that those businesses that are out there have a very difficult decision to go off and make, and the governor's put them in that position. So please respect them, respect the employees at those businesses. This is tough. Not everybody's in the situation where they can afford to shut down and still keep those businesses afloat. So I just ask for a little bit of mercy on all the folks that are facing these challenges. But for those who are able to, the more of us that can sit up and stand up and take a stand against Governor Whitmer's unlawful executive orders. And yes, they are unlawful. She is acting outside of the constraint of the rule of law right now. For those of you who don't know, she initiated the initial emergency or state of emergency under a 1945 statute called Public Act 302 of 1945. That gives her the authority to initiate a state of emergency, and along with that, under emergency powers, she pretty much does have dictatorial powers under statute. She's still subject to the Constitution, so even a statute doesn't circumvent the Constitution. The Constitution says very clearly in Article 1, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution that all political power is inherent in the people. So she can't trump that. She can't take away any of our rights. She can make the case why we should stay at home, all that kind of stuff, but she has no legal authority to go off and dictate that happens. The rub comes in when she attempted to extend her state of emergency from or beyond the 28 days that are cited in PA 390 of 1976. See, under Public Act 390, while the governor has the authority to initiate a state of emergency under the 1945 Act, in order to extend that state of emergency beyond 98 days, she needs the approval of the legislature. That did not happen back in April. So as of April 30th of this year, she no longer had the authority to go off and extend that state of emergency. Well, the governor has ignored that. And she essentially has converted our constitutional republic into a banana republic. And we have had some folks stand up against it. That's folks like Carl Mankey, folks like the barbers that were out there cutting hair on the, like my good friend Lon DeGat out in the state capitol. But not enough of us. And so I want everybody to be able to respect the businesses that are dealing with these dictates like everybody else is. But for those businesses that are able to go off and say, talk to the hand, pound sand, Governor Whitmer, I encourage them to do so, because I'm telling you right now, these dictates are only going to get worse. This is what happens with bullies, and that's how she's acting. She's acting as a bully. The more people that take a step back and don't do anything and just let this bully just go off and pound on them day after day after day, the more people that keep doing that, the more it encourages her to go off and do the bad stuff that she's doing. She's basing this latest executive order on some bogus information that states that face masks are 70% effective at stopping the spread of the virus. I would love to see the science on that. Matter of fact, I would love to see some of our elected representatives go off and do something productive for a change. I can't tell you how disappointed I am in our elected representation right now in the Senate and the House. There is zero leadership going on right now, with the possible exception of Senator Tom Barrett. I'm so disappointed in them. But they could at least go off and ask her, what is the scientific basis for your so-called 70% effectiveness number? They should be asking all along the way for numbers on infectious disease, hospitalization, or infection rates, hospitalization rates, and fatality rates. They've been silent. Guys, we are right now in the middle of an ideological war. For those of you who don't realize that yet, well, welcome to the realization, I hope. Because there are people that have been at this for decades. Now we're just seeing the culmination of their efforts right now. We are in the middle of an ideological war. It's not a war of bullets. It's not a war of bayonets or anything like that. It's an ideological war, and we want to keep it that way. All right? We don't want to go off and have any armed insurrection or anything like that. That's not what we need to do. We need to go off and expose the truth about what's really happening. And it takes a lot of effort to go off and do that. It means you got to go off and understand what the Constitution says, what the statutes say, what the 1945 statute says, what the 1976 statute. It takes a heck of a lot of work. I get it. But you know what? We're past the time of the summertime patriots here, or sunshine patriots. We actually go off and do some work. We have to be able to understand these issues well enough to be able to convey them and share them and convince our neighbors that what she is doing is totally not only unconstitutional, but against the law. Man, I really wish I could be starting to spread some sunshine up to everybody here. But I'm telling you, as we approach this 2020 election up in November, no matter what happens in the election results, we're still in a battle. Saw what happened in 2016. When President Trump won the election, we thought that was going to give us a nice little reprieve, right? No, it's been one nonstop battle since that point in time. We're going to be facing the same sort of battle no matter what happens in this upcoming election. So it's time to gird our loins right now and get ready for the fact that if we want our freedom, if we value our freedom, we have to stand up right now. We have to go off and convey the truth in love. We can't just go off and ignore everything that's happening and go off and put a pity party on and buy into these false narratives of Marxist groups like Black Lives Matter. We can't continue to go off and do that kind of garbage. We need to go off and pursue the truth. We need to understand the Marxist origins of those organizations. We need to understand what the truth of the current statute is with Governor Whitmer and how she's totally ignoring current law for these edicts. We need to get active, folks. Now, if we want to talk about some tangible things you can do right now, besides go off and do all the studying on the Constitution and the statutes, go off and support unlockmichigan.com. Right now, all the governor's doing is basing all of her edicts, unlawful edicts, on a 1945 Emergency Powers Act. This Unlock Michigan is circulating a petition that if we get over 425,000 valid signatures, we will put that petition in the form of legislation in front of our legislatures in the House and the Michigan Senate, and they have an opportunity to do something good for a change and actually vote to approve that. And if they do vote to approve that, what it does is repeal that 1945 law that Governor Whitmer keeps leaning up against. And that 1976 statute becomes the only game in town, which is valid already, but essentially it takes away the pole that Governor Whitmer is leaning upon. Guys, if we go off and get that repealed, the nice thing is when the House and the Senate vote to approve that petition that's been put forward in front of them, then the governor has no say in the matter. She can't veto it. It automatically becomes law once it's approved by both bodies. So this is a big deal, folks. This is a real big deal. Please go to unlockmichigan.com. At the very least, sign the petition. But if you can go off and circulate the petition, please do so. If you can go off and financially contribute, because it's not free to go off and print out all these petitions, and they're very particular on how you go off and complete these petitions, please go off and do that. Also, I want to give another shout out for Chad Bass with his persistence. If you go to recallgovernorwhitmer.com, go off and support him. The petitions for her recall are starting on July 29th. It's a huge climb to get the recall going. Unlike this, the petition that's being circulated by Unlock Michigan that only needs 425,000 valid signatures, Chad's petition to recall the governor takes 1,062,000 and change as far as number of valid signatures. That is a big haul. There's 10 million people in the state of Michigan, so you get an idea of how challenging that is. But you know what? I think there's over 1 million people that are really ticked off at what the governor is doing right now, converting our beloved state into a banana republic. So it's about time we took a stand. So it may be difficult. That doesn't mean we shouldn't go off and do it. So go to recallgovernorwhitmer.com as well. Guys, I wish I had sunshine to spread out here on it right now, but there is something to take solace in, and that is in the fact that we do have people like Carl Mankey, we have people at the Great Lakes Justice Center, we have people like the folks at Stand Up Michigan, the folks at Unlock Michigan that are starting to take a stand. So even if our frickin' legislators in Lansing that are supposed to be representing us and being on the front line so that we don't have to take risks as business owners to go off and push wear a mask or don't wear a mask legislation, even though they're doing nothing right now, nothing substantive whatsoever, it is up for the people to go off and take a stand right now. So please stand up, do your civic duty, get engaged, and we can make a difference. It's not going to be over in November. This is a case where we've been asleep at the wheel for too long, but we can't afford to be asleep anymore. This is a battle between freedom and fear. There are people pushing fear, and the people pushing fear are promoting the fundamental transformation of America. America is the best place to live on this earth, and I've been able to travel all around the world. I've been behind the Iron Curtain. America is the best place in the world. Our underpinnings are special. We need to protect them. We don't need to fundamentally transform America. We need to fundamentally reinvigorate America and remember everything that makes America truly great. And so sorry about the rant here with everybody, but now is the time. Now is the time. So please get engaged. Go to unlockmichigan.com and also recallgovernorwhitmer.com. Get involved. Go off, study your Constitution. Go off and even read the Michigan Constitution. And then make sure you understand that 1945 statute, PA 302 of 1945. Go off and read PA 390 of 1976. You'll get an understanding of what the current status of law is, and you'll be an informed citizen ready to roll. So God bless everybody. Knock 'em alive.